afternoon and welcome. My name is Greg Patterson. I am the co-founder, along with Mayor Lane, of the Scottsdale Business Development Forum. That is a group that Mayor Lane put together in 2010 that provides a forum for business and community and civic leaders to meet and discuss issues. We meet every month at SkySong to go over a variety of issues with a variety of levels of government. And those meetings are free, open to the public, and if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about the Scottsdale Business Development Forum, please contact Mayor Lane's office and he'll put you in touch with me. This is the fourth year that the Scottsdale Business Development Forum has hosted the State of the City address, and in this case, last year's luncheon was limited to 280 people. This year's luncheon is closer to 420 people. We appreciate the great folks at the Fairmont for hosting us. The proceeds, after all of the expenses of this event, will go to Operation Fix It. And if you will take a look at the back of your program, you will learn a little bit about Operation Fix It. It has some just wonderful stories of people who have lived in Scottsdale all of their lives and are at one point either elderly or disabled or financially unable to take care of their homes and keep them up to code. And Operation Fix It coordinates volunteers with the money for supplies to ensure that those struggling individuals have the opportunity to get their houses in compliance and to really beautify the neighborhoods. It is a wonderful community outreach project. The good folks at the Scottsdale Media have asked people on the street, as well as some VIPs who you will recognize, what they think about Scottsdale and what they like about Scottsdale, and they have put together this 4-minute video.
I love Scottsdale. I have lived here for about 25 years, and the weather's great, the shopping's great, Fashion Square. You've got Old Town Scottsdale with all the neat shops. The schools are wonderful, and lots to do, lots of fun things to do around here.
Best place to live in the United States.
Hands down, I agree.
I enjoy it. I enjoy the affluence. I enjoy the landscaping, the way the city's laid out. It's just a fun place to be, and there seems like there's always something to do here or people to see. It's a happening place.
It's got anything you could want, and it's a great place to bring visitors from Washington State. They know about Scottsdale, so they want to come here.
It's clean, the restaurants are outstanding, the shopping is phenomenal, people are friendly, so I like it. I like to come and visit.
Come visit here. This is a beautiful area and a lot of things to do.
Right, yeah, it's nice town.
The people are very friendly. I like a lot of the community activities that they got going on, the Prada de Sol and a lot of other stuff. I'm not a big golfing fan, but there are a lot of golf courses around here. And it's the Old West.
It's a beautiful city, the palm trees. It's it's actually got a green feeling to it. I'd love it, Who wouldn't love it? And the thing is, when you surround it with a great sporting event like the Super Bowl, it's even better. Super Bowl, baby! Woo!
One thing I love about Scottsdale is the amount of green space that's available in the city that's provided primarily by the voters in the form of the preserve, as well as all the parks and green belts that we have in the area, but particularly the preserve, the number of gateways we have into the preserve, as well as all the land that's been set aside by the citizens for preservation. I absolutely love that part of Scottsdale.
The one thing I love about Scottsdale is the generations of vision in this community. And that's the vision to embrace tourism as an important economic factor in our community. And that goes back to the 50s and 60s. And the vision to embrace the preserve and understand the importance that's important to preserve open space rather than develop that space. And it's the importance of embracing good schools and understanding that good schools make good communities. So it's that vision for decades that I am most proud for Scottsdale.
The great things about Scottsdale are all the various kinds of events that we have constantly going on in our city. We have Parada del Sol, we have the Barrett-Jackson car auction, the Arabian horse show. We have walking trails and park trails and things to do, shopping experiences that are unbelievable. It's just a wonderful place to be, the best place to meet wonderful people.
So what's wonderful about Scottsdale? I think most of us would think about the people, think about the open space, the preserve. But what I think is truly remarkable is the community's commitment to quality and the community's willingness to invest in making this a first-class place to live. It just makes Scottsdale remarkable.
You know, the one thing I love about Scottsdale is opportunity. Scottsdale has a lot of economic opportunity. I think Scottsdale is ripe for the opportunity for small business to succeed here.
The one thing I love about Scottsdale are the extreme variety of opportunities that we have in a city of our size. Opportunities to put on a cowboy hat or a baseball hat, opportunity to take a hot air balloon ride or a jet ride. These extraordinary breadth of opportunities are unique in a city the size of Scottsdale.
And now to introduce the mayor, we have one of his good friends, the CEO of Global Med, Joel Bartholomew.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. If I would have known there was teleprompters, now I'm going to have to turn it this way to read what I've got here. So born and raised in New Jersey, Mayor Jim Lane holds a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting from St. Joseph University in Philadelphia. Mayor Lane has lived in Scottsdale since 1973 when he accepted a position with KPMG, then Pete Marwick, as an international CPA firm, He worked as an Arizona CPA for 20 years, with 5 of those years in public accounting as a financial statement auditor. Mayor Lane was an adjunct professor of business and accounting at Scottsdale Community College. He served on the 2002 Scottsdale Fire and EMS Advisory Committee, which was convened to evaluate and make recommendations to the city regarding the desired level of fire and emergency medical services relative to cost. Mayor Lane served for 4 years as a Scottsdale City Council, beginning in June of 2004, and then he began his first term as mayor in January of 2009. Was re-elected in 2012 and started his second term in January of 2013. Always a part of the community, he served for 6 years on the Scottsdale Paradise Valley YMCA Board of Management. He chaired the 1999 Kids Campaign, an annual fundraising effort, and currently is an emeritus board member. Mayor Lane currently represents our fine city as a member of the Flynn Foundation's Arizona Bioscience Roadmap Steering Committee. Only 7 pages left. He is the immediate past president and member of the Arizona Municipal Water Users Association. He is a member of the executive committee of the League of Arizona Cities and Towns. He is treasurer of the Maricopa Association of Governments Regional Council, a member of the Executive Committee, the Economic Development Committee, and the past chair and member of the Transportation Policy Committee. He's not busy at all. Mayor Lane also serves on the board of Scottsdale's Leadership, Health Records Banking Alliance, the Rio Salado Foundation, and the Scottsdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. He is the governor's appointee to the Arizona Game and Fish Appointment Recommendation Board and a member of the Municipal Tax Code Commission. He is the chair of the City Council Economic Development, he is the chair of the City of Scottsdale Economic Development Council Subcommittee, and as you all know, his focus on economic development in Scottsdale is outstanding. Mayor Lane has owned and operated businesses in construction, mining, computer technology, telecommunications, regional aviation, and financial consulting, so he knows what the rest of us actually deal with on a day-to-day basis. He and his wife, Joanne, have 3 adult children, Bill, Scott, and Nancy, along with 6 grandchildren. Under the mayor's leadership, Scottsdale is ranked in the top of many categories, and here are just a few, and you may not know this. Recently, we rated top 5 safest cities to live in, number 1 best city to raise your children in, the 6th best run city in the United States, and the 5th best city to retire in. Personally, as I know Jim, the mayor of Scottsdale, I have a couple adjectives, and I'm sure you will think of many, many more, but they are as follows: leader, visionary, genuine, innovator, real, approachable, honorable, selfless, inclusive. He's a patriot, engaged, humble, charitable, and friend. But most of all, servant to the city, the region, and our state. Please help me in welcoming Mayor Jim Lane.
Thank you so very much, Joel. I just didn't realize how long it was going to take. I didn't know you were going to get through it. Maybe I'd get to dessert. But in any case, thanks so very much. And I very much appreciate the attributes and adjectives that you've used to describe me. And thanks to all of you for being here today. It remains my distinct honor to be the mayor of the greatest city in the country, and perhaps the world. Before I begin today's remarks, some other introductions are in order. First and foremost, and most importantly, my wife Joanne is here with me, as she always is. My son Bill and his wife Tammy, my son Scott and his wife Meredith, and my sister Liz and her husband Jerry Mangini are here with me. So thank you very much for being. At my State of the City address last year, it was my honor to be introduced by a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, named Doug Ducey. Though at the time Doug was focused on a campaign to become our governor, he took the time out to be here, and for that I am forever grateful. There may have been a bit of prophetic luck bestowed on Doug, pardon me, Governor, in my request for him to return to attend again this year as governor. Truly, I know it has more to do with Doug's message, his philosophy of governance, and his ability to execute the actions necessary to move our great state forward than any prophetic luck. So he is now here with us as governor in fulfillment of my request. So please join me again in welcoming here today our governor of a great state of Arizona, Governor Doug Ducey. This annual State of the City address is our opportunity to catch up on what's happening in Scottsdale. I'll talk about things we've accomplished in the previous years and some challenges we must overcome in the years ahead. If I had to sum up the state of the city in one word, it would be remarkable. The evidence is all around us. We're in the midst of perhaps the most active and intense event season that we have ever seen. During a single week, in late January and early February, Scottsdale took center stage during 2 of the largest sporting events on the planet. As a host of the Waste Management Phoenix Open at TPC Scottsdale, we showcased our city to more than 500,000 fans at the tournament and millions more around the globe. We also hosted ESPN's live broadcast from the Super Bowl as part of the Fan Fest Scottsdale, along with dozens of other public and private events around the city. The game may have been in Glendale, but the party was in Scottsdale. And Scottsdale knows how to throw a party. We've earned the opportunity to host these big events because Scottsdale is truly an all-star city. When the pressure is on, when the spotlight shines brightest, Scottsdale performs the best. I want to make special mention of our partners at the Scottsdale Convention and Visitors Bureau for their work helping us to shine in the international spotlight. All of us collectively, whether it is at the city, at City Hall, the CVB, or in the great businesses and organizations all over this community, make it happen. Together we make Scottsdale a remarkable place. I know you might be saying, of course you'd say that, you're the mayor. And I'll have to admit, I'm a bit biased. But it's not just me. Throughout the course of any given year, you will consistently see awards, accolades, and recognitions bestowed on Scottsdale from all kinds of sources. During 2014, and you've heard some of this, Scottsdale was named among the top tech-savvy cities, safest cities, best places to retire, raise children, do business, and here's one you haven't heard yet, to take a selfie. Some specific ones are worthy of our attention. For several years now, WallStreet247.com has included Scottsdale on its list of the best-run cities in America. In 2014, we were ranked 6th, in large part due to strong fiscal management and a robust local economy, for which many of you share the credit. When the 3 industry standards bond rating agencies affirmed the city's AAA rating in May, and of course, not too very long ago, just recently again, but of last year, we maintained our position as one of the few cities, a rather exclusive group, with the best possible credit ratings. That's about as unbiased an opinion as one can get. The result is very tangible. On the heels of that rating, the city saved $7 million on interest on a variety of debt. A majority of the savings will result in lower taxes to Scottsdale property owners. To a fiscal conservative businessman and accountant like me, it is something we should all be proud of. But Scottsdale's ranking on one list left me wondering a bit. One real estate site named Scottsdale among the nation's snobbiest cities. Well, I'd have to say, when I heard that, I nearly dropped my monocle in my lobster bisque. I had to have my butler read the article to me a second time just to make sure I knew what I was hearing. Seriously, though, I'm always curious about the criteria that are used to rank Scottsdale on these lists, and I'm sure you are too. Here are the criteria used to rank the snobbiest cities: high property values, high income and educational levels, wonderful arts and culture. I'm sure you'd agree with me that these are enviable characteristics that every city strives for, and they're signs of a thriving community, and Scottsdale is certainly thriving. So we'll accept it. If you ask the 225,000 people who call Scottsdale home and the millions more who choose to visit Scottsdale every year, I think they'll say that we're a friendly and welcoming community. We heard from a few of them in the opening video. Scottsdale is far from snobby. We just happen to offer an uncommon quality of life with a side of Western hospitality. It would be easy to look at the beauty of our natural surroundings and call Scottsdale remarkable. But we're much more than the majestic McDowell Mountains and stately saguaros. Scottsdale is a remarkable city because of remarkable people. While there are far too many to name individually, I'm going to mention just a few. One fine gentleman and a great personal friend who built the vitality and history of our city and state through his community service, business, and work in government as a city councilman and as a state representative is Mr. Paul Messenger. He has seen and helped Scottsdale grow from an unincorporated town of 1 square mile with less than 1,000 people to a wonderful modern western city it is today. Paul and his wife Cora started Scottsdale's first mortuary and first ambulance service, both of which still serve Scottsdale more than 50 years later. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming and thanking Paul, along with his wife Cora, for all that they've done for our great city. What do you call someone whose biography includes semi-professional baseball player, folk singer, educator, author, storyteller, and a United States Marine? You call them remarkable. And Marshall Trimble is that. And then some. Marshall retired in 2014 after teaching Arizona history for 37 years at Scottsdale Community College. He has authored several books on the subject as if he lived it, and he remains Arizona's official historian and an icon in our community. Please join me in welcoming and thanking Marshall Trimble for his service. Thank you, Marshall. The last guest I want to talk about today is also well-versed in Scottsdale history. Although clearly much younger than Mr. Trimble and Mr. Messenger, Joan Fidella has lived in Scottsdale for more than 20 years. In her mind's eye, she's been here since the days of Winfield Scott. You can learn what that was like in any of her 7 books about a history of our community. The most recent is called The People's Preserve, an in-depth look on how a remarkable group of people created Scottsdale's McDowell Sonoran Preserve. Please join me in welcoming and thanking Joan Fidella. Early in 2014, the city of Scottsdale adopted a new mission statement as part of our resetting of our priorities for the next 12 to 18 months. Simply better service for a world-class community provides direction and describes the commitment that city employees have to keeping Scottsdale great. Our city staff are a wonderful and proud group, and to them, the mission statement is more than just lip service. A team of staff members working with our city manager, Fritz Bering, are advancing a number of initiatives in the planning and permits process to reform the efficiency and quality of customer service for our citizens, businesses, and visitors, all to meet and exceed the city's pledge of simply better service. A world-class community invests in the quality of life, and few cities do that better than Scottsdale. Perhaps the most visible result is Scottsdale's McDowell Sonoran Preserve, the beautiful Sonoran Desert and mountains that provide such an iconic backdrop to our community. Many of you know the story, but we should never tire of repeating it. The preserve was created by Scottsdale citizens working in partnership with their local government, a wonderful model for getting things done. These 47 square miles of desert with 120 miles of trails and preserves for the benefit of citizens today, for their children and grandchildren, and for generations beyond. The preserve is a tremendous attraction for tourism and is a proud amenity for our residents to enjoy and show off to their visitors. Not everyone who enjoys the outdoor in Scottsdale heads for the preserve, however. That's because our city offers a park system that definitely is world-class. Our parks department is one of about 100 across the nation that has earned the accreditation from an independent agency that evaluates parks against a tough national standard. We've met that standard for the past 20 years thanks to our beautiful, clean parks and facilities, a well-rounded scope of programs, and a professional staff that is second to none. This past September 8th, Scottsdale received 5 inches of rain in just a few hours. And when those heavy rains fell, a large part of the park system located in the Indian Bend Wash went to work at its second and primary job of flood control. thanks in large part to the Greenbelt, storm disruptions in Scottsdale, while substantial, were minimal in comparison to other parts of the valley. Thanks also goes to the group of staff, the emergency response team, who volunteer to be called out when storms and other disruptions begin to restrict city streets. Everyone on city staff did a terrific job, including Scottsdale police officer who helped this fish across Hayden Road. I think he survived that too. Our investment in the cultural well-being of our community is on display every year round, thanks in large part to the Scottsdale Cultural Council, who manages the Scottsdale Public Art Program. During storms, the breathtaking group of sculptured steeds along Indian Bend Road called Watermark helped move a little water themselves. That piece of art is among dozens from our world-class public and art collection. It can tell a lot about how a community feels about itself by looking at the public face it shows. In the last year, we welcomed new art installations at Westworld, at Cavalier Park, and a beautiful enhancement of the canal at the heart of our downtown. I want to thank everyone at the Scottsdale Cultural Council for Scottsdale's art and cultural image. This is the perfect moment to publicly welcome Neely Pearl, the new president and CEO of the Scottsdale Cultural Council, who started last year. Neely, are you here with? Neely's team creates art and culture programs that help make Scottsdale a city that everyone can enjoy. A visionary man once said, "If you foolishly ignore beauty, you will soon find yourself without it. But if you invest in beauty, it will remain with you all of your days of your life." That man was Frank Lloyd Wright, and I quote him here to remind us of the lasting and profound importance that our investment in the arts and in the preserve has had on Scottsdale. I also mention Mr. Wright because he spent a great deal of time at Taliesin West, the famous desert retreat and School of Architecture he founded in 1937 at the foot of the McDowell Mountains. Established in 1937, this National Historic Landmark is yet another remarkable facet of Scottsdale's character. With new leadership and new direction, Taliesin West is reasserting itself. Frank Lloyd Wright, like many of our earliest residents, recognized the importance of living and growing in harmony with nature, and I encourage all of you to visit Taliesin West to experience that for yourselves. In the spirit of living and growing in harmony, my council colleagues and I unanimously supported the Unity Pledge. The Unity Pledge is a concerted effort by the city, businesses, and individuals to advance workplace and community equality for the LGBT community. Our pledge affirms the city's commitment to inclusion and is a public expression of Scottsdale's desire to be an inclusive place and respect all people. Scottsdale's quality of life is created by all of us, and it must be supported by all of us. As I begin to talk about our business environment, I think you see a much broader base of business diversity in our economic engine than ever before. A wide range of technology businesses are now attracted to the environment we have created in Scottsdale. Business and industry that is well suited to the Scottsdale environment now grow in a healthy, organic way. Investors now find Scottsdale a great place to start, relocate, and reinvest. In fact, since 2012, Scottsdale ranks #1 for venture capital funding investment in Arizona. Let me be clear on that one point. We do not pay companies to come to Scottsdale. The remarkable community and lifestyle we have created together is what attracts them. And once they are here, a variety of services such as assistance in marketing to skilled talent and helping to integrate new firms into the local community help keep and grow them. In this effort, we have made over 150 visits to local companies in the last 18 months and hosted interactive feedback sessions, after which one company stated, "It was nice to meet some fellow Scottsdale business leaders. Dare I say that I felt a little bit like a family all working together as a team." Downtown Scottsdale offers an urban experience that you don't find too many other places in the United States. It's particularly attractive to technology companies whose employees like the live, work, and thrive lifestyle that it offers. 2014 saw impressive corporate activity in downtown Scottsdale. The biggest was announced late in the year. Zenefits is a human resource technology company that chose Scottsdale for a major expansion out of California. The company will eventually lease a total of 100,000 square feet here in Scottsdale and plans to hire more than 1,300 employees over the next 3 years. That announcement came on the heels of another expansion from California. Web technology firm Weebly leased 25,000 square feet of space from their North American customer operations headquarters and plans to bring 250 new jobs to Scottsdale. I'd like to welcome Weebly CEO Alan Chambliss, who's here with us today. Alan, are you, I'm not, well, thank you. Alan, thanks for your investment in the community and your support here today and the entire Weebly business. Nearby ZocDoc announced a major expansion of their Scottsdale location, and Zavella moved forward with their relocation of their corporate headquarters, which was announced at the end of 2013. 2 miles south of McDowell Corridor continues its resurgence, anchored by SkySong, which continues to attract attention and talent to Scottsdale. SkySong 3 is a new 145,000 square foot building that opened in the summer of 2014, and it is already at 90% capacity. A wide variety of firms are relocating or expanding at SkySong, including digital marketing and technology firms, Revell Systems, Yodel, and Pixel. One of those companies' founders called SkySong the right place for serial entrepreneurialism to grow and prosper. That's an apt description of SkySong, but it's also of Scottsdale's entire business environment. SkySong is more than just office space. It's a place for collaboration and innovation. An example of this is Alliances, a group of entrepreneurs who regularly meet at SkySong to foster innovation and to help businesses start and grow. SkySong has become a place for innovators who attract more innovators. Imagine in-depth medical tests that could be conducted from a blood drawn via a simple prick of the finger. That's the innovation that Theranos, another company that selected SkySong, is perfecting. Theranos, based in Palo Alto, California, has leased a 20,000 square foot wing at SkySong 3. Their expansion into Scottsdale will bring hundreds of jobs in the short term and many more in the years to come. Theranos is an example of another trend that we're seeing in Scottsdale. The rise of technology companies that are focused on the biomedical industry. Elizabeth Holmes, their founder and CEO, was keynote speaker at the second annual Scottsdale Cure Corridor event. The Scottsdale Cure Corridor, generally along Shea Boulevard and the Scottsdale Air Park, is anchored by Scottsdale Lincoln Health Network, the Mayo Clinic, and the drug development arm, which is TD2, which is a drug development arm of TGen. This collaboration of incredible healthcare minds is focused on using innovative genomics to take medical research from the bench to the bedside to cure cancer and other diseases. The results they have achieved over the past few years have been remarkable. I want to mention 2 other healthcare companies that made major announcements in Scottsdale in the past year. We were excited to welcome Orion Health to the Scottsdale Air Park and the Cure Corridor late last year. They are a healthcare information technology company who chose Scottsdale for their North American Research and Solution Center. There are another example of an exciting blend of healthcare and technology that is becoming one of Scottsdale's signature industries. In the spring of 2014, Magellan Health announced that they will move its headquarters from Connecticut to Scottsdale. The healthcare management company has nearly 6,000 employees at locations in 22 states, and we are very pleased to have them here in Scottsdale. Another very strong business sector for Scottsdale is the financial and business services sector. 2014 saw a large expansion in Scottsdale from Vanguard, Scottsdale Insurance, Nautilus Insurance, and Homeowners Financial Group, to name just a few. These types of businesses and industry clusters working alongside and together across our community fuels innovation, collaboration, and competition. They invest in our city and provide jobs for our residents. And it's all about a diverse makeup of future-oriented industries that builds and secures our economic engine. Their success is our success. As fiduciary of the taxpayers' resources, the council must evaluate, approve, and spend wisely those resources that maintain and enhance our capital infrastructure. The voter-approved allocation of bed tax funds to tourism capital projects is one resource. One allocation was for the multi-use Tony Nelson Equestrian Center at Westworld. That facility has now earned a reputation as the most flexible event venue in the Southwest, and we are seeing a growing list of world-class events at Westworld. This year, I'm fortunate to be able to talk about the completion of Scottsdale's Museum of the West, aptly dubbed Western Spirit. When the City Council devoted a portion of our bed tax revenue to build this museum, the goal was to reinvest in our most popular tourist attraction, downtown Scottsdale. This beautiful new museum immerses guests in the unique story of the American West. Earlier, we recognized longtime Scottsdale resident Paul Messenger. In addition to Paul's accomplishments mentioned before, he was part of a Scottsdale Town Enrichment program. It's called a STEP program. That early in our city's history set the course for the remarkable city we have become. In 1965, the STEP committee issued a robust report of dozens of capital projects that they desired to build to move Scottsdale forward. Elemental parts of Scottsdale today were first envisioned in that report. Things like the Indian Bend Wash, City Hall, and the Civic Center Mall. The STEP report called for construction of a Scottsdale Town Museum to display certain types of Western art, both unique and, well, Paul has been 50 years, and we've finally got the Museum of Western Art. The STEP committee can check off another project off that list. So, Paul, you've got that to let him know. It was well worth the wait. And Museum of the West is a wholly modern experience that provides an interactive journey via art, authentic cultural materials, riveting stories, and engaging technologies. Thank you to the many people who held this vision and worked for years and years to make it real. And special thanks to the Scottsdale Charros for our spring training and community partners who wrote in with a check for $250,000 to support the new museum. The Charros, I know, are right out here. Thank you very much to the Charros. Toward the other end of the tourism corridor, the city has completed renovations and another high-profile venue, TPC Scottsdale. This public golf course is the home of the largest spectator event in Arizona, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, which routinely draws more than 500,000 people over its week-long run. After the conclusion of the 2014 tournament, the city began a $15 million project to modernize the 20-year-old facility and bring it up to its current standards for everyone who plays there, from the beginners to the pros. Making these improvements was also instrumental in an agreement between the City of Scottsdale and the PGA Tour that will keep the professional tournament at TPC Scottsdale through 2022. These investments in our capital tourism infrastructure are made with tourism dollars, and we are fortunate to have the dedicated funding source to support our tourism facilities and industry without burdening the city's general fund. No discussion of tourism is complete without talking about the biggest event of the season, spring training, which is right around the corner. For the third time in 5 years, the San Francisco Giants, Scottsdale's home team for spring training, are the world champions. Congratulations to the Giants for that. That already adds to a partnership that we love with the Giants and with the Scottsdale Charros, and welcome everyone who makes downtown a sea of orange during the month of March each year. Not long after spring training concludes, we welcome a new team to Scottsdale Stadium. Arizona United Soccer Club is the state's only professional club playing at the USL Pro level in support of Major League Soccer. They announced their move from Peoria to Scottsdale last year to expose their game to more fans and to a game experience that would be second to none. We're truly excited to have them here, and I encourage all of you to check out some games when their season begins in April. It's easy to see why I'm so excited about Scottsdale's future. As bright as that future will undoubtedly be, there are always challenges, which present sometimes opportunities, but there are challenges nevertheless that our community must face together. Can we reach consensus on the city's future vision and direction on the General Plan 2035? I think we all agree that we must work together to keep Scottsdale, Scottsdale. But we may differ in opinion as to what that means. Many seasoned citizens have put many hours into developing the general plan draft, and as it moves forward, it is the civic duty of everyone with a stake in Scottsdale to learn more about that plan, ask questions, provide input, and make informed decisions when the plan ultimately appears on the ballot. Can we maintain our capital infrastructure, our streets, parks, water lines, and traffic systems at the level Scottsdale residents expect? When you cross from a neighboring community into Scottsdale, you can see and feel the difference because we have a higher standard of capital infrastructure. Drastic reductions to the city's revenue brought on by the Great Recession, however, have pushed funding in our capital programs to the lowest level in years. We simply must maintain the investments made by previous generations, and bond funding is the best way to do that. In most cases, on an emergency basis, however, we have squeezed money out of the general fund to handle critical repairs. But every dollar we spend there is a dollar unavailable for day-to-day services. Previous bond packages submitted to the voters have failed to earn their support. So this question remains unanswered. And Scottsdale must be particularly careful because as a well-run city, the damage caused by reduced capital funding may not be seen for many years. We at City Hall are working hard to build that same level of trust with each and every one of our voters that we have with the bond rating agencies. As healthy as it is, we also have questions to answer about our tourism industry. Can we maintain it and improve it? In the year ahead, we will revisit master planning of the entire Westworld area to develop long-term plans that will support parking, traffic flow, and other things we need to keep our signature events there healthy and thriving. A citizen group is continuing to explore and advocate for the Desert Discovery Center, a destination envisioned as a place for residents and visitors to discover the story of the Upper Sonoran Desert. It's an intriguing idea, but there are many questions to be answered. Where will it go? How much would it cost? How would we pay for it? Do we as a community really want it? That's a discussion that I believe will become more prominent in the year ahead. There are two groups working to make sure downtown Scottsdale maintains a position as a major attraction. A tourism advisory task force appointed by the City Council is developing tactics to reinvigorate the Scottsdale experience in downtown with much of its attention to that core. Their activities are also funded with dedicated tourism revenue. A private group of downtown businesses is developing strategies to maintain and improve our downtown infrastructure, including exploration of a private funding to pay for enhanced services, service levels to keep downtown special. Scott Nelson is chair of that effort, and I thank him for his leadership and look forward to seeing that group's recommendations soon. In both of these examples, stakeholders are working alongside the city and even leading the charge in some cases. And that's how it should be. Our governance, financing, tax funds, and an economy are solid, disciplined, growing, and diversified. But with all that, we have a peculiar challenge in the upcoming years. As we know, we will have to wean ourselves of our dependency on state and federal funds. We will need to remain solid in our fiduciary governance. We'll need to remain disciplined in our budgeting. We will need to continue to be a great place to have a business and a remarkable place to live so that taxable activities continue to grow. And finally, we will need to be a community that is united and welcoming so that our free economy will continue to grow unfiltered by higher than necessary taxes or overregulation. To stay true to this path, I'll propose that we establish a citizens committee to review our ordinances, rules, and fees for their continuing need, intended results, and regulatory costs to both the city and targeted businesses or citizens. In every case that we can, we will consider how certain taxes or fees impact businesses and citizens here in Scottsdale. That's what an open, accountable, and responsive government does. I'll conclude by saying once again that Scottsdale is a remarkable place. We are a community of remarkable people who throughout our history have made smart, sometimes tough choices to create a place that lives up to its sterling reputation. I'm incredibly optimistic about our future. Every community changes over time, and we are no different. Where we stand apart, however, is that Scottsdale history is one of consistent and steady improvement. We all share the credit. Government, business, involved and energetic citizens have made Scottsdale what we are. And we all inherit the responsibility for continuing that success. I know we're up to the task. Some communities age. Scottsdale just gets better. So I hope that may God continue to bless Scottsdale and our United States of America. And thank you very much for being here with us today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And that does conclude the ceremony. Thank you.